It's Monday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Charlie's Angels. How you guys doing?
Oh, okay. Fine, thank you.
He's been four of us for a while. You know, Mike has been in the UK.
Yeah.
Nima is indisposed. So it's like, I'm just so used to just the four of us. How you guys doing? Let me start with Miriam. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. As I said to you on Friday, it was supposed to be me catching up on all. I'm not going to do that again. I don't like it. Just watching and watching. My brain cells are fried. But, you know, it was good to just relax. And then today is Biodiversity Day. As we know, it's about our environment, all of life on Earth, and how we interact with each other, and how, you know, one species is important for the survival and development of the other. And so if one species should be, should be lost or endangered, it affects all of us. So we need to educate ourselves on it. And this year, the theme is we're going beyond just talking and into action, from less intangibles to more tangibles. You need to be able to participate in your own little way, one day at a time, until we can reverse the negative impact of our bad behavior over the years.
Cool. How are you doing, Top?
I'm very good.
I like your hair.
Thank you. Hair by BC. I have been in school and my brain, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Oh God. I
like a crash course.
Right? I didn't understand. So I sent a message to my accountant on Friday evening, and I said that I'm doing a course that I need but I don't like. So valuation, it's just going through the numbers, ratio. I'm wondering, what is this? You know, but it's a side of business that is very important, that if we don't take cognizance of the
I struggle with that in the MBA course, because you're constantly having to know the numbers, how many percentage you have, the document, how you compare your numbers. You'll be talking with figures. Oh, I struggle.
But that's what investors want to hear. Yeah. So I need to learn how to do it. Then on, you must understand your business. So on the 25th of May, my foundation, that's Women in Real Estate Wire, we're doing Africa Day is on the 25th of May. So we're doing a Twitter space event, 8 p.m., and we're redefining Africa's role in the global economics, talking about real estate and the impact of Africans within the real estate space, but not just across. We're having speakers from Ghana, we're having speakers from Nigeria. I'll be speaking, and it's just an interesting conversation. So if you want to, I'm trying now this Twitter space thing. I'm just an Instagram person, but they are saying there is more to life than Instagram. So here we are,
just finding out.
Exploring Twitter.
I go there once a year.
Me too. I
need to start trying it also. But I just, once in a while, I just pop in and I'll pop out.
Streets, not for me.
How you doing, Obiajulu?
I'm doing great.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good. So Friday, I went to my son's school to
do
the book read.
Show.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I watched the show as well. You guys did amazing. So I went to my children's school, to my son's class actually, to do the book read. It was fun. We read a book about African history, ancient African history, and I figured out that there are a lot of things that were not told. Africa had the best civilization, in fact, the beginning of civilization, education, everything, science, numerology, everything started from Africa. And I had to beg the teacher, give me this book. I'm taking it home. I'll send it back after 2 weeks. I want to digest the information. It was fun. Then Saturday, we were supposed to go to the school for fun day. The rain started, so we didn't go. So we did our fun day in the house. We bought pizza, ice cream. We wore the T-shirts. No, the school held, but the traffic, I couldn't deal. Yeah. So we were home. A friend of mine came over. We had our own fun day in the house. Later, I was hearing that the traffic was horrible. Most parents go home like 9 p.m. that day. I just couldn't deal, So that was how I had my weekend. Then yesterday, just rested and got ready for work.
It's your weekend.
Honestly, I can't remember, but I know it was fun. I'm really digging my head like, Mariah, you're not 60, you're not 70, you can't remember what you did. But I know I had fun this weekend. You know, but I rested, but there was a bit of activity. Saturday, were we together? What did we do?
No parties?
No. For some reason, there hasn't been parties recently. But there are parties.
We know why.
Okay, everybody's waiting for the inauguration.
For inauguration,
So I have a party on the 20th. I have like 2 parties on the 27th. Oh, my girlfriend is getting married. I'm pretty excited about that.
Whoa.
So very soon, but I'm not going to tell you which one. But one of them is getting married. I'm pretty excited about that, So hopefully very soon. Pretty excited. So I have her party and have somebody else's party on that on 27th. There's so many things happening. But I'm thinking, I might bounce inauguration. I don't know, because this inauguration, I'm not saying, we'll see how it goes. I might just stay for the Lagos inauguration instead of the federal inauguration, because there are too many parties in Lagos for me to be missing, to be going to be Abuja. Please, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to start with the reviews. Let's start with the nation. Shatima, Tinubu will run an all-inclusive administration. Terrorists take over Kenji National Park. Buhari, 5 African presidents to inaugurate Dangote refinery. Sack fever grips aviation workers after fan shakeup. Interest rates likely to go up again as MPC meets. Explain your source of wealth, El Rufai tells predecessors. And UK foreign students form relocating with families. You can banter for it. Yeah, go ahead.
So the good news, so as we're aware, the Nigeria, our profile, that's our country's profile in the global oil industry will be boosted today because our president will be leading 5 other African presidents to inaugurate the Dangote petroleum refinery and petrochemicals. We have presidents coming in from Togo, Ghana, Senegal, Niger Republic, Chad, and also the president of Rwanda will be sending his goodwill messages virtually. So let's see what the fact sheets say about this refinery. They say that the refinery can meet 100% of Nigerian requirements for all refined products: gasoline 53 million litres per day, diesel 34 million litres per day, kerosene 10 million litres per day, aviation jet 2 million litres per day, and so on and so forth. So it also provides over 100,000 jobs, direct and indirectly. And many
Did they mention when it will start actually working?
No. There's no time and everything. But we're excited about this.
Yes.
Puts us in a positive light.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I'm big players,
all big brothers also.
Big brothers, other African countries around coming.
And I hear that the control room is like the biggest, like the most modern in the world. I was reading a report. It's the most modern in the entire planet. The control room. I saw the pictures. We'll see that. We'll see the more pictures today.
I know it says it's the world's largest single train refinery in the world. So,
so we'll see how that
Located in Nigeria by our very own Dangote.
Let them start produce first before we get excited.
Yeah, please, let's start getting excited now.
Yeah, good.
We need some
our
good news.
own.
Yeah.
So officials of the aviation ministry, a bit senior officials are a bit panicky after I think they've heard their sources saying that there would likely be some sacks and some people will be let go of their jobs. So sources within the aviation ministry hinted that the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, is shopping for replacement for the managing director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA. The agency, they said, has been without a substantive chief executive for more than a year. They also said the minister may bypass the acting managing director of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Mr. Matthew Lawrence Pajok, to deploy a senior official from the ministry to take over. Now, some persons hinted that the job erasure will also spread to the National Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, known for formerly as the Accident Investigation Bureau, which is AIB, and they are not sure whether the changes will also affect the office of the NCAA Director General. According to them, they said the tenure is granted by legislation and other international instruments. So a lot of people are just panicking. They are saying that it's going to likely affect many agencies: NAMA, NCAA, NSIB, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. And so let's see how it's going to happen. They said the sack will affect the directorate in the NCAA, which was recently embroiled with a 2 billion fraud on infractions bordering on duty toll allowances. Probably that's why they may have to let him go or not.
Okay, let me take the major headlines. So the vice president-elect was attending a book launch organized by the Arewa Women for Tinubu Shetima and a group called 100% Focus on Jagaban. They had a book launch where he was saying that everybody will be given a sense of belonging in this new administration. According to him, he says elections are over and they're going to run Nigeria in such a way that everybody will like it, whether you are APC member or not. He was saying that the administration will be for all and everybody will be carried along. Other guests at that event, including the chairman of the 100% Focus on Jagaban, his name is Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed, also saying he appealed to the new administration that there has to be a system where when you go to the police or immigration, you can get the data of all Nigerians to enable us to figure out who is good or who is bad. So there's got to be a comprehensive data for all Nigerians. Also, the Minister of Women Affairs, also at the event, Mrs. Pauline Talent, was saying that under this administration, women will take the lead, as they've always done. So everybody is speaking about what's going to be happening in the new administration. That's the conversation this whole week. Expectations.
Countdown.
Countdown is less than 7 days.
Exactly. A week from today.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. All right.
Let me take the story about terrorists taking over Kainji National Park. So this is in the new Busa Borogo local government area of Niger State. They said staffers of the national park have stopped going to work because they've been attacked and injured by terrorists. Said a large number of terrorists have taken over the park, and then they come out of the park they use the park as their hideout and come out to attack people on the Wawa-Luma Highway, which is a connection between Nigeria and Benin Republic from Niger State. They also mentioned that some of the villagers around have stopped going to their farm. Farmers have stopped going to their farm because they've gotten attacked. The businesses have been affected because even business owners that are on their way to do their commercial activities, their bosses get attacked and they've kidnapped about 10 people. Nation reporters said that they made efforts to get information from the PPRO for Niger State, DSP Abiodun Wasiu, and they couldn't get him to give any feedback. But the vice chairman of the local government confirmed the development, saying that indeed terrorists have taken over the Kainji National Park and that they are taking proactive steps to combat the activities and ensure it does not affect social economic development within the local government.
Moving on quickly now to the Punch. Dangote Refinery opens today. Eyes crude oil from 3 continents. Picture here of Dangote and $10. NDLEA arrests Baron in Lagos hotel over 567 million naira seized drug. Don't judge me based on performance, as minister says Akpabio. Accounts for $460 million CCTV loan, court orders federal government. And presidential poll tribunal parties disagree as court rules on live broadcast today. Okay.
A former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, has called on Nigerians and members of the incoming 10th National Assembly not to assess him using his brief tenure as Minister of Niger Delta Affairs. He said that he preferred to be judged by his records as a lawyer of 36 years, commissioner for 6 years, and a governor for 8 years. This is stated when he was interviewing with journalists. And he says, I quote, I do know that I have not changed in any way. I am somebody God has given the opportunity to be an uncommon transformer wherever I go. I will not like to be judged by ministerial appointment for Niger Delta, which everybody knows is a problematic place. But I would like to be judged by my record as a lawyer of 36 years, commissioner of 6 years, and a governor of 8 years. And you know the case that happened in 2020 where he appeared before the House of Representatives where he was trying to explain and they were saying, off your mic. You know, it was an alleged 81.5 billion money spent by the ministry that was not properly accounted for. I'm sure that's why he's saying, don't look at that to judge me with my other track record.
All right.
Yes, NDLEA is at it again. They've arrested a drug baron, Charles Eze. This was after they had recovered a consignment of methamphetamine weighing 30.10 kg with a street value of 567 million naira. They said that this consignment were concealed in powdered custard containers and they were going to the UK. They were intercepted at the Skyway Aviation Handling Company PLC export shed in the at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. Other people, flight agents and others, were also arrested, you know, for those who were behind the shipment. So they say that this man had been living with his wife and children in London until December 10th, 2022, when he fled to Nigeria because of his involvement in some drug-related offenses he had committed in the UK. And then he claimed that he had been living in hotels here in Nigeria, but they were able to trace his mansion to number 1 Hawawu Abikon Street, Lekki, on Friday, where, you know, search was conducted, travel and property documents and others were recovered. Earlier, I was saying that these people, when they catch them, do we know them? Like, are their neighbors able to say, this is this person, they are church members, they are children's classmates in school, their wives' friends? I just wonder how they feel when their names are, you know. But luckily for them here, their faces are blurred, but their pictures are on the papers.
All right, so ahead of today's ruling for the application to broadcast the presidential proceedings, election petition today, because remember, if you recall, the PDP and the LP had already prayed for the court to have the entire proceedings run live. And they hinged this on the fact that, according to them, being able to transmit the entire proceedings live would enable Nigerians to have first-hand information of the process that will guide the tribunal and ensure transparency. However, INEC and the APC had argued that the application would actually put the lives of the judges in danger and even the lives of the lawyers in danger. It said that the court is already a public place. It's a public place and it's accessible to all, subject to the availability of space. So there was no need to transmit live. So today, we hear from the courts if they will allow the live transmission of the proceedings of the tribunal.
Let me take the story about SERAP. So the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has asked the Minister for Finance to account for the $460 million CCTV loan. Apparently in 2010, Nigeria got a loan from China, and we have been servicing the loan. The loan, $460 million, was to create a CCTV, cover the entire Abuja. And apparently, there's a failed project, and SERAP is demanding that we get details of who the contract was awarded to, how much was paid to each person that got the contract, and the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the federal government to release that information, that it is part of our rights under the Freedom of Information Act to know the details of how each contract is being implemented, because Nigeria is funding the loan, servicing the loan, but yet we have no results of what the loan was meant to have achieved in Abuja. I'm actually also looking forward to hearing the breakdown of how that money was spent.
Daily Sun, very quickly, latest Plateau attacks church alleges killing of 130, raising of over 1,000 houses, 22 churches, worship centers also. US-based doctor files motion to delay Tinubu's inauguration. Northern Group asked EFCC chair to go over corrupt allegations. Failed Abuja CCTV project, court orders FG to account for the $460 million. And FG sacks Fan MD, appoints Mohammed new CEO. Okay, which story?
The major headline that happened in Mongu government in Plateau State. We have leaders of various church denominations now lending their voice as well. The head of the Plateau State Church Denominational Leaders and Spiritual Fathers, ECWA President Reverend Steve released a press statement. So many things he said, of course, expressed his dismay at the killings, but he's asking questions, and I think all of us are asking government this question. And he's saying these questions. He's saying, who really wants to destroy Plateau State, and why? Are the killers really unknown gunmen? And why do they always have sophisticated weapons and enough time to wreak havoc on innocent citizens? What has happened to those arrested in previous attacks? Are the security agencies in Plateau really handicapped? So these are the questions, you know, that people are asking in Plateau State, that for there to be peace and unity going forward, we need the government to answer these questions. And let's do something about this constant killing of innocent citizens, and it's over and over and over again.
I know the director of news at TBC also, Stella Dean Jacob, was also raising funds to see her because her community is one of the communities that are affected. And she was really, really pained. So she was actually
quite painful.
And, I mean, it's quite sad, and you feel when it's quite close to home, especially.
I don't know if people have seen the videos. The videos are gruesome. Pictures of people with their family members, their fathers, their mothers, their names and everything they've done is just there. And we just want to know who these people are and how they're able to carry these things out without
they deserve justice.
Yes.
So a woman, at least we need information. So the police in Delta State got information about a woman, Queen Nwagbogu, and she's been alleged to be a legal dealer in AK-47 ammunition, and she was found with 100 rounds of 7.62 millimeter live ammunition by operatives of the Delta State Police Command. So obviously we know how ammunitions are being dealt because they got intelligence about her and they arrested her that she's an illegal dealer in AK-47 ammunition, and we're happy that at least she's been arrested. Hopefully through her we can get more other people.
How does she go to sleep at night?
I don't know, a woman.
They are always beneficiaries of war. You know what? We've watched movies now about they are beneficiaries of war. And
you have a story, Inton?
Yeah, the coalition of Arewa civil society organizations yesterday said the chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's EFCC, Mr. Abdul Rashid Bawa, has to resign over corruption allegations hanging on his neck. The allegations were so much. They said that's by the chairman, Adamu Aminu Musa. He said his resignation, that's Bawa's resignation at this point, was sacrosanct to save the reputation of Nigeria, especially as he has been in the center of many corrupt allegations even before he was appointed as the chairman of the anti-graft agency. They said he operates like an emperor, using his office to intimidate, harass, and force people, financial institutions, and other government agencies. It was a lot. They talked about how he traveled for Hajj, spent about 300 US.
Yeah, I think it comes to the territory. As the EFCC boss, you'll be either a witch hunter.
Yes.
It's possible you're a thief, one, or they will concoct different stories against you because you are
corruption fighting
back. Corruption is fighting back. So it could be either way, 50-50. It could be true, or it could be the fact that somebody's putting up stuff against it. But you never know.
He has to clear all of
As an EFCC boss, this is very normal. They always find allegations.
All of them.
Because you are investigating really powerful
being
people.
selected.
Whether you like it or not, somebody will be attacking you. So I don't want to believe that it's totally. We'll see. As I said, 50-50. We never know.
Those are questions he has to.
Okay, Vanguard, our final paper for this morning. The manufacturers in dire straits as unsold goods hit 470 billion naira. Insecurity gave me sleepless nights, says ex-President Jonathan. Global misinformation, IPIE to the rescue. 1999 Constitution states reduced to pathetic beggars, says Akeredolu. Buhari 5 presidents to commission Dangote refinery. And UK to ban Nigerian students from bringing in families.
Yeah, let me take that. So the United Kingdom is set to announce new restrictions that will most likely stop Nigerian students of other nationalities studying in the UK from bringing their families over. They said that this would not apply, however, to PhD students whose course would normally last 3 and 5 years, and also that they're very skilled. And really, this is just in response to the immigration numbers. They say that they've just skyrocketed in the past few years. They said there's been an explosion in the number of people coming into Britain, piggybacking on their relative students' visa. And more specifically, a Tory MP said last year, 59,053 Nigerian students brought over 60,923 relatives. We have got to get a grip.
That's more than even the applicants.
Yes, the applicants.
They did not know before.
We'll hear more.
We'll talk about it. Okay, so Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State was saying that our current constitution, as is, has completely reduced governors to pathetic beggars. According to him, was speaking through his special advisor on union matters, Mr. Dari Aragbaye, at I think it was the 59th Founders Day Anniversary Lecture Award. And he was saying specifically that there will be no end to the misery of us, of the people, unless the basic law was tinkered with to reposition the country to be more productive. According to him, he says that there can be no development in a place where the law and its application are skewed heavily against the majority of the people. And according to him, the fact that many states are not empowered to be self-sufficient is a problem that will continue to cause the governors to be beggars to the federal government. According to him, a codification which alienates the people from its intendment is not only repressive, but also fraudulent. So, I mean, these are all things we've been saying over the years, but it's been reiterated. We have to wrap up. Any other story in Vanguard? Let's run. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, let's dig into this UK matter. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to the reports that we read, the United Kingdom is set to announce new restrictions that will most likely stop Nigerian students and other nationalities studying in the UK from bringing in their families. This follows a report that the net migration into the UK has skyrocketed to 1 million, with members of the Conservative Party asking the Prime Minister, Sunak, to get a grip on the rocketing numbers. Now, what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweets. So on this show, we like to talk about we the people, you know, how we always somewhat just, you know, take advantage of an opportunity. We remember when the what's that thing? That thing that makes you go to the US? We used to call it something back then.
Green
Visa lottery.
lottery, yeah.
You know, we took advantage. A lot of them, I mean, eventually they closed it, but it was an opportunity. So the UK also provided an opportunity for students to come to the country. And obviously, the clause was that you can bring along your family because they were being considerate that you don't want to leave your children, your family alone in your country. So if you're going to come and study, they will allow you to bring your family over also. So of course, Nigerians took this, like, very good migration opportunity. Oh, yeah, everybody, let's start going. But now they are considering bringing in restrictions because the numbers, which you read, I'd like you to take those numbers again. The numbers, especially from various countries in Africa, is exceeding the expectations. And I'd like Miriam to remind us of some of the numbers you read earlier.
So they said students brought 135,788 family members to Britain last year, which was 9 times more than in 2019. Then they said last year for Nigeria, just Nigeria, we had 59,053 Nigerian students who brought in 60,923 relatives. That's
about 1.1 person. So for every person, at least one person.
Yeah, at least one
person, everybody can come in. Now, what are your thoughts on
the
this? What do you think about this? BC, I know you're like, what's wrong with this? But I don't know, what are your general thoughts on this? Who'd like to go first?
I think they are just users. They have used us, and now it's time to dump us. I do not have a problem with you reviewing your laws or your restrictions to say, okay, this is no longer working for us. These people that we've given an opportunity to come study with their family. Because remember that the application they made, there was that clause that it's okay for you to come in with your family members, right? And Nigerians took advantage of that. Of course, if you're going somewhere and somebody says, okay, come with, even when we are doing parties and a parent invites a kid and you say, can the siblings come? It's okay, bring them. You carry them along. It's an opportunity to do that once you have given them that green light to go ahead. And then Nigerians took advantage of this and started going to school there with their family members. Now you have used them, you have used their school fees, you have used all the resources, you have used them to do the work in your country. And you want to change your rules now because you now see there are a lot of them who are taking jobs. A lot of the British citizens are complaining that Nigerians are taking their jobs, they don't have enough jobs anymore. The hospital, the medical care, the healthcare system is always, the hospitals are always crowded, there are lots of people, things that would have been, enough. I hear now they have an issue with their housing. There are no houses anymore for a lot of people. The prices or rent has gone so high, and you know, it's hitting the economy.
Absolutely.
I don't have a problem with you changing your mind to say, okay, this is no longer how we are going to be doing it. But do you have to make a public announcement and tag a whole country? That's where I have a problem.
Okay.
You could revise it. So when you're coming for your school visa, you now see that there's no longer a clause to bring your family in. Then you ask yourself, before you collect their money, then you ask yourself, okay, can I go alone and come back after how many years, since there's no more clause? And if there is not, you take your money and go to another country. But now you brandish a whole country. Nigeria will soon be banned as if we're thieves and armed robbers. We pay money to come to that country to study.
Okay, thank you for that. You know, so in some countries, they don't have these coded way of removing laws. They kind of just they bring it to the table.
Yeah.
They can't just expunge a clause just because we don't want them to know. Yeah. So some places they debate it, they discuss it, and then agree. Maybe that's why it's like that. But what are your thoughts on this? So I don't want to go.
So for me, I'm saying that first of all, I just find the irony of the situation funny. Here is a Rishi Sunak, Indian, obviously, you know, and he now has to talk about immigration, especially for him, where I'm sure people will say, see how immigration paid you, and today you're prime minister. But having said that, for Nigerians themselves, it's okay to go abroad and go and school, it's fine. And where it was acceptable to bring your family along was good. And now it's no longer acceptable. And then people will now have to just think, what other countries can I go to that will provide for me the kind of education that I'm seeking and also allow my family to come along? If you were also one of the person that is not really about going to study, you were just looking for a way to japa, then I guess you just realize that this door is closed and you look for another door. It's important to allow countries, their sovereign countries, to make policies that empowers their country, so that tomorrow nobody will come and ask us questions when we're making policies that would empower our own country. And Nigerians also need to understand that these countries are not ours. They are other people's country, and they would put their country's needs and their people's needs ahead of, of foreigners. That's just it. It's fair. And I want for our country also to look at this and see, is this the way these people are doing it? In what way, what policies would I push to going forward to make sure that I'm protecting my country, protecting its citizens here and abroad? I don't really think it's a big deal, but I like the example you gave about when they ask you to come for a party. I thought it was funny. Ask you to come for a party and then you bring siblings. Nigerians, we don't hear word. We do it even in small party where they will say, come, RSVP. One, this card admits one. You will still come with 3 people.
But we used to
I stay at the gate. I'll be begging them. I'll be begging, please allow us in. Now they have told you it's not possible, We need to respect people's laws and people's policies so that they can respect us too.
I'll take your initial thoughts after the break. So, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this possible restriction from the UK government of Nigerians and other countries actually on coming to school to study alongside their family members. Let me come to you, talk about your initial thoughts on this when you heard the story.
Okay, so it was funny when I heard the story. I was wondering that it's like the UK government did not know the purpose of the new increase in their the new increase in the number of Nigerians applying for visas, study visas. The goal of many Nigerians that applied for study visas between last year and this year was to relocate their families.
Simple.
So for you were expecting students. For the students, they were relocating family. So when you understand the purpose for those people coming, if you look at the number, for me, I didn't think the number was huge because really it was just it's less than 2,000, the number above
The
So
students.
the students that were applying within that 1 year
something thousand.
were 59,000.
Now,
then
another 60,000, that's in addition.
In addition,
Yes.
dependents were 60-something thousand.
Yes.
So it is less than 2,000. So if every student had
One
dependent,
person.
Yeah.
it's
Not
a
plenty
big deal.
now.
But the truth is that that's not the case. The case is about 50% of that 50-something thousand are bringing 4 people with them. So the Nigerian person applying for student visa in the past 1 year were planning as a means to relocate.
Yeah.
So the reality of that hit is coming on their economy. While I was in the UK, I was in Glasgow. There were 2 families that were scrambling. They were staying in an hotel, like families in one room in hotel. They couldn't find a house because there's a house shortage.
Yeah.
You are coming to the UK saying that you want to come as a student, but you bring 2 children and your husband.
Before.
And now there's no house for you to stay. As a student, you can stay in one room or somebody can give you. But when you bring a family, you are putting a lot of pressure on
The
their
facilities.
on their
Going-
facility.
going by-
So the government now needs to separate the students
Requirement, the
from
needs.
yes,
Immigrants.
So, for example, let's use
immigrants.
this is example of the party. So I'm taking my family to a party because we're hungry. We don't have food to eat.
Yes.
There's absolutely no food in my house. That's
Yeah.
it. BC is having a party. But BC has said, okay, you can come with daughter 1, but you can bring the other 2 daughters. So there are 2 different reasons. I've invited you to my party to come and celebrate.
Yes, with
to come and let us have the numbers of all of you plenty. But your own objective is to feed.
To go and eat.
Now you're now-
No, let me even tell you, BC thinks it's like her, where she has 2, 3 kids. She did not know that you have 7 children. So she said, come with the kids.
Yes.
And then you come with a whole...
And then all of you now want to, you're now a strain on her food, on her supply.
Yes.
She fed, she only had food enough for 2 people. But now you got like
7 people.
Now she's having to feed all of you. So that's really the issue. But now,
But Nigeria, when people say Nigeria being labeled, Nigeria is not necessarily being labeled. Nigeria is number 3. Well, the first country is India. That's
His own country.
That was where I was going to come from. Because I was like, but she mentioned it, that the Prime Minister is going to have to defend the fact that his citizens,
are no longer
of his
allowed.
original country are the ones that are putting a
But
strain
that's-
on the
absolutely.
on his new
country.
So India number 1, China number 2,
Then
Nigeria number 3. So Nigeria is 40%, and I feel that
and these are large population countries.
Yes.
So
So
the
really
numbers.
there's a correlation.
But you know, I always find it very interesting. Well, especially Nigerians. I know a Nigerian family in the US that totally loves Trump. They love Donald Trump. And why do they love Donald Trump? Because of his conservative perspective on immigration. Like, I let him just stop all this. And I'm thinking to myself,
Nigerian.
you don't enter, finish.
They're
All your
not
freedom.
Americans.
So now they're not even Americans,
Yes.
but now they're loving Trump so
Yes.
much because of immigration. So
they don't
is
want more
it
people to
the
come in.
thinking? Is it the human thinking? Because we go by Sunak's position. Is it just that, okay, we are just somewhat selfish where, okay, now that we are sorted, every other
Every other
person,
person
let's now
can be
begin
pushed
to
aside.
restrict others?
But that's
or is
how-
it a fair requirement to do in the interest
your
of their own
country.
population?
So you will not say it's fair or unfair, right? As a country, your obligation is to do what is best for your economy, what is best for your country. You must do that. You must, they say, love your neighbor as yourself. We always forget that as yourself. You cannot love yourself, you cannot love your neighbor, right? So you must preserve yourself. But it's the manner in which this is being done that I have a problem with. We have students who have applied for visa, who have, in fact, a very dear friend, when this matter broke, he called my husband, he was lamenting. He had applied for him and his family members to relocate. He was going to school. They had paid school fees. They've paid school fees. They've paid for house. They've paid for everything. And the visa came back denied. And these people are not refunding jack. They do that over and over. When I was growing up, there was a time my mother told me that there was a way the Nigerian states respected their people. So much so that if either the US embassy or the UK embassy denies you visa, they give you back your visa application money. What is happening? Nobody's doing that anymore.
thank you for
right?
bringing it
So
up.
after paying for all those things, you now make this turn around and you keep the money, and then the Nigerians there who have probably sold their houses at distress sale because they were planning to japa, they've closed down their businesses, they've resigned from their jobs, and now left stranded. Are you thinking of those people as well?
Raising that point. Let me tell you why I think that's a good point. Because we see a lot of Nigerians who have ascended into the foreign government. You know, either they are mayors or they are lawmakers or many of them have gone into the system. You would think when they get into the system, it's stuff like this. They can help us fight or defend us. Where they can bring up an issue where immigration issues could be reviewed such that, because that's what some of the Indians do.
Yeah.
But our own people, once they get into government, it's all about, I must be seen to be in alignment with the British, exclusively the British way of doing things. I must be seen to be more American. I must be seen to be more Canadian. Not bringing in a bit of what their own people need. Am I missing you? So if an Indian gets into a foreign system, maybe becomes a mayor or something, he's also looking out somewhat for
to protect his people.
That's how it seems, because some of them are able to get ahead. But our own people sometimes, and I might be wrong, our own people sometimes, as they get ahead, especially into governance, especially in different countries, they're not totally looking for immigration. They're not reviewing laws like this where to ensure that you get a refund once you pay certain amounts and your visas are denied. Because I don't expect a British person to fight for that.
It's not their job to do that. It's the job of your own government to fight for your people. Every government fights for their own people.
From Nigeria. I need people within the system that can fight for me.
Let me give you this analysis. I was advising someone who is married and her sister needs help, and I told her, I said, once you're already married, your family at this point now is you and your husband. Your sibling is very important. You want to help your sibling, but you can't be coaching your sibling on how to lie to your husband. Your husband is you.
Hell.
That is your family. When somebody relocates to America, they have become American. They look at it that Nigeria did not serve me, did not help me, and now I have come to a country, this country has helped me, it has served me. In most cases, when you talk to the Nigerian person, they love their country, but they are loyal to who has helped them. And the country that has helped them is America. So same with the British person who was a Nigerian and has gone to England, who now has benefited from England. The children are getting to go to free school. The person's loyalty is like, I love Nigeria, you are my fatherland, but this is now my country. So when I get into a position of power, I am going to serve the country that has helped me.
Fantastic.
At that point
Pause for a second.
Not to hurt my motherland, not to harm my motherland, but I will serve this
motherland, you still eat their food. What makes you set you apart? You listen to their music. When they show up, you become very, I'm Nigerian. You know, when you see your name out there, you get proud. But yet, you desecrate it because they're not there. Let them handle it. But you still eat our food because you want to be fully American. Stop eating Nigerian. Stop looking for African stores. Be fully 100% Nigerian, American. But you still listen to our music.
If you fit now.
You still wear our clothes. So where exactly are these things coming from? So the land at which you desecrate and you feel like it's no more, I'm not interested in that anymore, I still somewhat look for them to pretend they're palm oil.
For them, your Eforiro in America.
So who's going to develop that? Are you going to
Can I puncture it?
Please puncture it. That's what we're having a conversation. Please puncture it.
I'm in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm eating sausages. I'm eating whatever. I'm a Nigerian. I'm eating basmati rice. I'm eating curry rice. What other things? I'm eating all this Chinese and Indian and everything.
Yes.
The world that we live in today is a global village. I cannot use the food or the music or the fashion to determine how Nigerian or American anyone is. It just shows how globally
We've become
aware I am. So that's on one side. The second one is, you know, this example you've given, and I'm thinking, what is the right thing to do as a citizen of a country? Forget if you were born there or if it was naturalization or if, you know, your ancestry has always been from that country. The right thing to do is be an ambassador for that country, and anything that portrays your country in the positive and right way is what you should do. So I understand a Nigerian going to another country and becoming a citizen of that country, and that the first thing that they want to do is protect that country. That's the right thing to do. A person who goes to another country, or even a Nigerian who does anything that is against our laws and our policies, is a traitor to our country. As you and I now, we would not do, if we know that American is coming to do something and it's against Nigeria, even as a Nigerian, I want to protect my country. And then if it's a foreigner that even does it, much more, how else do you show your patriotism other than doing what, you know, protects that to your new country? So I don't think it's a bad thing when Nigerians go ahead and do that. But now the place of who protects the Nigerian that goes abroad, I think is what we need to talk about. Okay.
When we come back after the break, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're still discussing this matter of relocation. And Tope made us understand that, listen, there are two groups. There are the students who actually relocate to go to school, young, upcoming students. And there are those who are already families and they're relocating with their children.
Yeah.
So the burden really is not so much about the student, because we have various examples of people saying they relocated and they're actually in school accordingly. But those who are relocating with the families are the issues. And we've gotten various examples of people complaining that there's a huge influx of Nigerians with their families, and many of them don't have a place to stay. But it's also important to note that anywhere in the world where you relocate, there's always that initial struggle. I remember in my dad's house back in the day, 2095 Davidson Avenue, Bronx. You can never forget that. It was so popular. Everybody knew 2095 Davidson Avenue because my dad had a house there, and everybody from Nigeria, once you enter New Year, JFK, just go to Bronx. From his house, Akabasho, their house. They'll settle Boys were there. They would just sleep together, lie down on each other. And many guys started from 2095 Davidson Avenue. They will tell you, they will always trace their success back to the fact that when I entered America, that your father's house was the house where all the boys used to be. So there's that initial struggle. But why is this one different? Is it because there are children involved or what?
No, the struggle is not with the people that relocated. People that relocated understand that it was worse in Nigeria, or whichever way we would hustle and make it better where we are. The issue is that the country they have gone to is saying that you're putting a strain on my infrastructure. Yeah. So my hospital can only attend to 20 people, and now you have brought in 50 children in addition to the 20 that are our citizens. That when we asked you as a student to come, we did not know that you're going to be bringing in 20 children in addition. So now the hospitals are stretched in ability to take care of all the other immigrants that have come in addition to the students. So that's the real issue. A lot of citizens, the UK system is very, 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 very vocal. They don't hide. The conversation at their parliament is very hot and they debate it. So if citizens are raising issues with their MPs that we don't like what is going on, our resources are being strained, we're having challenges, the MP has to raise the issue on the floor of the parliament. So what we are seeing is a result of several problems happening, and it's not Nigeria alone.
Money for the economy.
So yes,
there's also that part.
It's one person bringing in money. One person brought money, and then the person brought 5 people.
So I bring in 10,000 naira, but then I bring in 15 people, and I use up 10,000 plus what they had before. So
okay, let me take Olariwaju from the UK. Olariwaju, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
You know what the Prime Minister said when he was in chief hand? Reality, I won't lie to you, there's a lot of problems in this country, both in education, in the school, both in
this
the
country,
housing.
talking about UK or Nigeria? Just be sure.
In UK.
Okay.
In UK, yeah. And when our people comes to this country, people bring like 3-4 children into the country. And they forgot that it's different. The system is different from Nigeria. If you are a family of 6, there are some people, the private renter, they won't give you a house. Because if you renting maybe 1 bedroom or a room, if you are up to 4, you will never get a place. Okay? So people forgot about that. And when they come to the airport, they don't even know where they are going to. Some of them haven't even booked accommodation. Because I work in the airport, I see a lot of people, trouble. And I'll be telling them, you know what? Who do this thing for you? Who did it for you? And they will say, okay, he's coming to come and pick them up in the airport. But nobody comes to pick them up. They are stranded. Wow. Some of them will be at the airport for the, second day before they ever get where they are going to. Wow. What I'm saying now is that what Nigeria should do with British about the visa fees, let them talk, let them discuss together about the visa that, okay, if you refuse to give them the visa from Nigeria,
you refund their money.
That money should be refunded.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay? We know the money they are charging from here as well. If we want to come to Nigeria, if I want to get a visa to come to Nigeria, A visiting visa is about 400, 500 pounds to get Nigerian visa. Yeah, so they should discuss about that you know what, and then if they want to let the student come, tell the student, okay, we allow you to come with one child, or don't come with any child.
Yeah.
After you come, you study, let them know from the beginning, not that, oh, bring everybody. And when they come, then there will be a trouble. I think that will be the solution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Laraja. I know there was a lady, I think it was Tokyo, that was saying that somebody that does the onboarding, I think, in the UK. Sometimes many people need to start engaging small groups of people that, okay, we're about to come with our family. Is there any way you can help us with accommodation? Because it's quite disheartening. But let's go back to the original conversation of this issue. Do you think, just going back to what BC said earlier, do you think the UK government is being fair, such that there's still a benefit to having these people? Immigration is such a huge benefit to them also. Do you think it's fair? Would you think they're actually ignorant of the fact that immigrants will come with their families? I mean, is it possible? Because there's no way, especially if you're bringing immigrants from Asia, from China.
You know how their country is.
There is a possibility they'll come with their children.
But they're specific. In fact, they know more than you the benefits of having a particular group of immigrants come into their country, because they have said PhD students, skilled, are not part of these people. So they understand that at this level, the level of human beings we're dealing with now, these are people that can benefit our economy even more. So they know. For me, I feel like this conversation has to do with educating Nigerians who are planning on relocating, either via student visa or any way, it should be about educating them on the real issues that they would find when they travel. There's so much misinformation. And no matter how much we've spoken about it, I'm still surprised every time I meet Nigerians who believe all these false stories. They believe that all I have to do is get there. And when I get there, I am sorted. So you find people, they're like, what do I need to do? I get a house, 10 of us who are living in a cramped space, and it gets better. But we need to tell them that there's a reality. You end up home, without shelter. You end up, you can't have food. You'll be begging to come back. It does not always translate into a better story. It gets worse. And then sometimes we need to understand, I don't see how you have so much money right here. You have a house. You sell off every asset that you have so that you can go and stay in one room, 10 of you, without even complete papers. You go as a student, maybe you go as a student, and they give you do your 4 years or whatever year course, and then you're supposed to go back, right? And then you're supposed to go back, and then you find yourself trying to look for a job. I've seen a lot of people who say, I'll go there, do my school, try and get a job so that I can get like the work permit, and they don't get that. And here you are now with your family members, and you don't have a job, you don't have a place to stay. Nigerians need to understand that it's not always the best solution to go there, and there is a process to integrate into the system. And if you don't have the right papers, you don't have the right qualifications, it will just be totally bad for you. Come home, stay at home, or find other countries that can accommodate you. I know that there's other countries in Europe where when you travel, their policies makes it easier for you to actually integrate into their system. It makes it easier for you and your family members. But everybody wants to go to specifically America and the UK. Yeah. And uncle, they are tired. They cannot afford us all. They have other people too that they are trying to take care of. So I just want this message to be a message of, let's stay back in our country, let's work harder, and let's have these people even come to our country to come and study, and and then we can complain about our infrastructure to Igbo people.
Okay, let me take Okpe, then I'll come to you, BC. Okpeyemi from Ibadan, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning, lady.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, okay. This morning, let me say, you were talking about this topic today, the quite balancing of starting from BC, who started what's it called, and a whole view on it. The last time or the few times we talked about this topic, you have been one-sided or different. Why did I say so? Because each time it's like you are blaming Nigerians for relocation. Are you with me, Mariah?
Yes, very clearly. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Most times it's like you're blaming Nigerians for relocation. And one truth is, no matter how good the system is, people will still always relocate. However, what I expected initially that we should be doing is probably what you're doing today, is to ask ourselves, why are our people relocating? Why do you think that we will leave the comfort of our home when I know that I am used to my culture? When I scold my child, I'm not seen as wicked. You know, a lot of things, cultural differences. Why do you think Nigerians are willing to go kill themselves just because they want to relocate? Just like everyone said, most of them are relocating because of pride. It wasn't about pride for most people. Our people who relocated. It's not about pride for some people. If people are lucky, you have good jobs, you got good life, you know. But some Nigerians are struggling. And so what do they want for themselves? Just something better.
Thank you. Akoyemi, let's hang in there. I like, please stay on, don't leave. You're absolutely right. If there's anybody that knows what Nigerians are going through, it's us. We're discussing it every single day for 10 years. So nobody knows what Nigerians are going through better than us on this table. However, we're saying with that knowledge, if I'm going to relocate, the country is saying we are coming in with so many children, and we're saying, where do we find a middle ground? Are we being destructive when we go to a country and then we come with so many other dependents? That's the conversation. So there's one thing what we're going through. And that thing is, how do we behave when we leave the shores of this country? So please go ahead.
Okay. Now, for the country who told us to come, let's be sincere with ourselves, like this is said, that they did not know that we are coming with kids is the right. Like I said, I have people who went there. Now, they will always ask you before they give you a class. Yeah. For those who are there, they know what the class is about. They will ask you, how many dependents are you coming with? Yes. So if you have not declared the number of dependents you are coming with, you go for your biometrics with the owner of your family, they know the number of children you're coming with. Are you getting my point? Yes. So the fact was that they took these people's money, and I will say it again. They knew what they want. They are taking it, they have had enough, and so they now feel the best. So my own point now is, please, let's tell our government, because all the time that these things have been happening, our government has kept quiet. As a matter of fact, what some of them will say, oh, after all, you people want us to reduce the number. Now we have helped you to reduce the number. But see, the point is, what is our government doing? How can you ensure that our people don't run away again and go to a strange land to become law?
Thank you very much, okay. Absolutely. So immigration, even if you live in a country that you are comfortable with, you can choose to immigrate to any other country.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
So regardless of how bad or how good your country is, it's a choice. However, Akoyemi is right. There are reasons. We all, and I said, we all know that. But there's a critical issue of, even though I'm coming in, the country opened their doors. The country is saying, I am thinking of putting a restriction because the numbers that are coming in are probably much more than I projected. So maybe they assume that, okay, maybe 1 or 2 would come in. But many people are coming with 3, 4 children. Imagine me and my husband and my 4 children begin to relocate right now. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in the economy.
Mariah, you know, you know, the most painful part is the people that are relocating actually are doing okay here. The poor people.
Most of them.
Except it's the community that gathered money to give you for visa. Do you know how much you get visa tickets and everything? Most of them are doing well here. I've seen people who were earning 300,000 naira monthly, 500,000 naira monthly, opting to Japa because they feel it's greener. They are going to have
the children.
For the children's education or whatever. Excuse me, you that you are complaining about the children's education, you went through the Nigerian system. There's nobody here who's, aside from you, that schooled abroad.
University.
Yes, university. We have good schools here. So it's painful that our middle class that are supposed to help us change the economy, change what we're going through in the country, you know, make that information known to everybody, help the other people. You always talk about the middle class as the problem of Nigeria, are the ones that opt to go there because they see it as a place that it will be better for them. They have the basics and then they have the normal life. They are not afraid of insecurity issues and all of that. They run to that place and they are treated poorly there. It's painful. And that's why I think the Nigerian government needs to sit up and protect their people. This is a slap on the face of the Nigerian government. And they will not say anything about it because they also... it's a slap. I take it very personal because you cannot come and brandish my people and say, you people are not coming again, you are too much, your noise is too much. And my government is not doing it.
That's not what they said.
You can interpret it in several different ways.
When we come back, we'll try to wrap up on this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Whenever we talk about Jakpa or Jakpada, it's always a very hot topic. But we have to wrap up. But let me let you respond to Okoyemi, which is what you wanted to
Yes, I wanted to respond to Okoyemi because we get this almost all the time where people say when we discuss immigration, we blame Nigerians that move. And the truth is we have different kinds of conversations on that topic. We have discussed why Nigerians move. We have discussed how Nigerians move. And we have discussed Nigerians immigrants and how they are living abroad. And today we're just discussing these host countries and what the new policy change is. And it's only fair for us to discuss it from that point of view so that Nigerians are aware the kind of risks that they may be taking. I always wonder for Nigerians when they travel, like if you're an immigrant and policies change, what then happens to you? You know, so it's important that all these truths can occur at the same time. We may still have the issues that make Nigerians move, but there are also Nigerians. Not all immigrants are the same, is what I'm trying to say. There are still Nigerians who have traveled, who did not need to travel, and who are paying so much more than they need for materially, financially, and mentally. And it's okay for them to have conversations like this so that they can make better decisions.
So they plan better and they have relocated and they've entered the system and they're fine. Let me let you have a final words.
You know, there are different kinds of immigrants, and there are immigrants and there are expatriates. And they always say the quality of the country where you come from determines if you are an immigrant or an expatriate.
Yes.
If you are coming from a poor country, you are an immigrant. If you are coming from a rich country, you are an expatriate. So the Nigerian person going there is going to be treated as an immigrant and will be likely disrespected because of the country the person is coming from.
Let's take a few comments on social media, BC.
Yes, so Mount Rushmore says, an Indian employee in my office just resumed from his 1 month leave today. He is happy to be back. We have hundreds of Indians, foreigners working in our organization. They hardly leave. Evewuru says, this life that is full of uncertainty. Now people, they sell all their property to another country. Corey Michael says, this BC is very funny. Now today, they don't slap Nigerian leaders. Do you think they care? Not be the same UK, them, they go for medical checkups. Intentional parenting says, okay, no, and Nam says, I saw a UK documentary where a black Briton got an admission to University of Ibadan, and it was a big deal. God save Nigeria. I hope we get back to that place.
That's all we can take on this segment. We already have our guests in the studio for the next segment. Thank you so much. I think in a nutshell, really, Nigerians who are traveling abroad, who are relocating, must ensure they're able to obey the rules, follow the rules, and let us not spoil it for others coming behind, because many Nigerians like to relocate, and they don't have 5 children or 4 children. They have maybe just 1 child, and somewhat this restriction now would affect them because they're only going to come in with one child or 1 spouse. But either way, when we travel abroad, let's always remember there are going to be people coming behind us. Let us not spoil it for those coming behind us. That's all we can take on this segment. Now, join us on the show is the Commissioner 3, Lagos State Audit Service Commission member, Eco Catalyst, Dr. Jimoh Akombi Ibrahim. He will be speaking on the symbolic symbolic session of this inauguration, what Tinubu's presidency will bring to Nigeria, and how it should look once he's sworn in next week. You can join the conversation, 08139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. It's Mondays. We love to discuss governance and politics, and it's important we had a touch of a bit of governance when we're on Monday. So welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
so,
for having me.
In a week from today, the new administration will be sworn in, and many people are really apprehensive. You know, everybody's wondering what's going to happen. Everybody's giving their suggestions, their ideas, their thoughts. We can even start with the issue of immigration, because I kept saying comments saying that Nigeria must sit up and do something to ensure that Nigerians are not mistreated. What are your thoughts in the new upcoming administration, and what do you think they should prioritize as they come in from next week?
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. And my viewers at home, I must congratulate every Nigerian for the election that just took place. The new administration is bringing a lot of hope. When you look at the plan of the new administration, a lot of things are very, very clear in terms of delivery. Particularly, looking at challenges that we have in this country, you find out that our challenges, security, economic, youth unemployment, and a host of others, they are so numerous. But we have to thank God that the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency, is going to bring a wonderful change. Like we are saying right now, it's already bringing change, even before inauguration. Recently, we just see a crash in the dollar. These are things that we'll see in the coming days ahead. The inauguration is going to be a lot of hope, and not just hope. We're going to see a lot of changes, development, and progress for this nation. I want to also add that we have chosen right. We have chosen the man that has the capacity and the ability. He has done it in the past. He will do it again. And he's doing it right now, because from the day the election was won, he has never rested. He has been traveling from one place to the other. He has a vision and he has a mission. This is something that has developed over 30 years ago, and now is the time to implement it.
Let me come in here for a second, because while I was doing my introduction, I used the word apprehensive, and Nigerians are really worried because people are scared. I mean, the country, the economy, you know, the dollar. Yeah. People are worried about jobs. People are worried about insecurity. People are worried about power. This is a lot to take on, because when the last administration came in, it was like, we did not know it was this bad. That was one of the comments we heard when they said they don't know it was this bad. So when you say they are prepared, people are really worried. Are they truly, is this new administration truly prepared to take on the enormity of what's ahead?
Very, very prepared. I will give you a lowdown. Look at the plan of the new administration. When you look at the issue of security, I went through that document line by line. And there are certain things that come to my mind. When you are tackling a problem, look at the root of that problem. And what the new administration is going to do is to apply a carrot and stick approach, empowering the military to do more. It's very, very critical. The program is going to look at creating a battalion which will be dedicated to attack that problem frontally. The present administration is doing a lot, but we now realize that the welfare is also critical. The welfare of the people in the front line. They have laid down their lives to protect our lives and property. So what are we going to do to continue to encourage them, to motivate them, to fight to the last of their blood? And that is what the program is looking at. The welfare and the economy is going to address people that are living within the economic challenges area. How do you bring them out so that they will not go into the wrong sides? They will not see the attraction from the other side, or people that are trying to encourage them to come to their side. So he has a plan. And that plan has addressed majorly, frontally, all these issues. And I believe as a leader, he has done it, and he has all the talent to be able to pick on those people that will do it right for him as lieutenants. So
one of the stories that I always find myself taking in papers is always about the finance, the economy, everything about money challenges that Nigeria is facing. I find myself always taking those stories. And there was a day I was reading the paper like 2 weeks ago. I read the paper and I had to just, I heaved and I faced the ladies and I told them, I said, the new administration has their work cut out for them. I'm like, the economy, what they're inheriting is a major crisis. Now, the average Nigerian already feels the impact of inflation and the challenges of financial issues. Exactly. But how do you see, because you have a background in finance. How do you, what would you see as the right line of action for the new administration to take? And how would you advise they approach the financial situation of Nigeria right now? Dealing with FX, dealing with our debt crisis, dealing with the fact that subsidy cannot be paid for, but it cannot be taken out. As in, what should they do?
Well, there's no challenges that's not surmountable. And the way things are, we have a way of overcoming some of these challenges. I'll give you an example. Look at the budget of Lagos. The budget of Lagos is this year about 1.73 trillion naira. And what the government did is to continuously, over the years, put the capital expenditure not below 50%. That means that capital expenditure would not only build infrastructure, but would engineer the growth of the economy. I want to go to the market, I can go to my market freely. Environmental is very clean. We don't have any challenges with security. Those are the things that will enable the economy. The government is a driver, And when they put all the necessary pictures together, they will be able to put in a way that will solve the problem. Coming back to your question, handling some of this financial crisis, I don't think that is a major problem. It's not a major problem because when you look at our economy the way it is, we have too much reliance on oil. What the government is trying to do is to review the budgetary system so that we won't rely more on just a single income, that is revenue of oil. Because the oil is the only driver of our economy. That's why we rely too much on foreign exchange. And that puts pressure on government in terms of payment of debt, in terms of servicing infrastructure, in terms of paying their current expenditures and all this. So when that budget is reviewed, based on the plan the incoming administration have, they will not rely so much on just a single income. The budgetary system will be rejuvenated in such a way that whatever we are making in terms of income will not be based, will not be dollarized, and that way we'll be able to save ourselves from the problem and pressure of the dollar in our economy.
Okay, I get that. Let me come into, because on this table we've had these conversations like 1 trillion times, and we've heard these kind of responses, and Nigerians keep saying, we've heard this before. We know, everybody knows that the economy has been diversified such that, they even said that we should increase the revenue from taxes. We understand these things, but it's not about the plan. It's about people actually paying taxes, companies actually paying taxes to bring up that revenue. So it sounds great for us to diversify from oil and have other sources, but how do you get people to actually pay? Because even the revenue from FIRS and even so far, they are growing, but they're not there yet. So we desperately need other sources. So it's nice to say they will diversify, but it's already been done, but it's still the results are not commensurate with the demand that is required.
Thank you very much. I'll give an example. What the incoming government is trying to do is to build a hub across the nation. That is economic hub, where entrepreneurs will be enabled, just like a free trade zone where you have everything ready, enabling entrepreneurs to develop their skills. Bring in everything that will come to bring in. When you develop economy, and every entrepreneur has the ability to generate income, to employ people, it is a way to pay back into the system. As they are growing the economy, the tax net will be growing up. So you are not taxing anything fresh. You are taxing the economic growth. As they are moving up, each of the hub built in the 6 geopolitical zones of this country will be empowered, enabled in such a way that people who have fund and be able to, in fact, what they're trying to do is that encourage all these entrepreneurs, give them resources to do what they are doing. Lagos State has started doing something like that. If you go to Ikeja there's a hub there where we have people that are into fashion. They bring in there, they provide an enabling environment there, they train other people, they are generating money. So if we have a multiplicity of that across the nation, what it means is that you have places where revenues are being generated and where new tax are being discovered, and that way you are not taxing anybody afresh, or you are not taxing anybody, increasing the tax rate for anybody, but you are expanding the tax net.
Okay, so we have the outgoing administration, and I remember one of the things that people were excited about because the president at that time was coming with qualifications of being a military officer, because as we know, the problem of insecurity is our biggest issue right now. And we're looking at the president-elect who doesn't have any military experience. But, a lot of people keep saying he knows the sort of people that he can work with. Who do you know? Do you have any idea of, what his plans are in that regard? I mean, the sort of people that he'll be working with, especially since we do not know of him being experienced personally in that area.
Well, I would not postulate the person that will be maybe national security advisors or the military intelligence. But what I know is that as a leader, you must be able to headhunt, identify those who would achieve your missions and objectives. And because in any position of leadership, based on your capacity and experience, you must have come across some of these people in your line of duty. So, to me, What people that would become military intelligence, security advisor, is something that we'll have to leave for the president-elect. As far as I know, he has already formed his own team. Because it is not just now that he has started. He has started working on it. But somebody will still say that the plan that he has now, he has that plan over 30 years ago, which is meant to address the challenges of this country. So he's prepared for it. He's not an accidental president. He's a president that already knows what he's going to do. So to me, I would like us to just wait for the time, and I'm sure that he will give us the best.
Okay. Let me see.
One of the problems we have as Nigerians is the fact that the cost of government is too high. We don't have enough resources to fund it. Recurrent bill is to over 70-something%. Some people are saying 80-something%. That means everything we're generating, whether it's from the taxes or it's from our oil, we're using to pay bills that are recurring. Do you think this administration will have the willpower to cut down the cost of government? That's one. Do you think that this administration will take Nigerians to that yes, no, he will answer it. So just short one. Do they have the will to cut down the cost of governance? Can they take us to a Nigerian dream? Do they even understand what a Nigerian dream is? Do they have that vision?
Thank you very much for that question. Well, we have a template already. And when you look at the first question, the template has addressed that. And what the president-elect promised to do in that template is to reduce overdependence on the federal level. Bring power back to the state and the local government. When you reduce overdependence, like the Oronsoye report says that there are a lot of parastatals that are doing practically nothing. And they are milking the budget every year. So why do you want to keep them? When you can bring money to the local government that will reach onto each corner of our streets and we will touch the masses of our country. Give funds to states that will be able to do their roads. For example, now they are looking at reviewing the Constitution so that the issue of security will come down to state. The issue of prison reform will come down to state.
Are you confirming here that the new administration would actually do a constitutional review, would ensure a proper constitutional review is done completely? Because we've been hearing this word constitutional for the past 2 or 3 years, and it hasn't been done. We just have been reported. I mean, remember the senators went across the country, had conversations, it was presented. We haven't heard anything. So are you giving us a confirmation based on your access that you are 100% sure that this new administration will have a constitutional review such that we have local policing, the states are more empowered for their resources? Is that what you're saying, sir?
I am saying very, very emphatic again.
Okay.
That when you look at the way this government, the incoming government will handle the issue of bringing down some of these things, they are already doing that already as we speak. I'm sure we all know that President Buhari signed something about power reforms recently.
Yes.
That's part of the process.
Yeah.
And when you have a very good assembly in place that understand the challenges of the people, and the leadership are ready to work with the executive, then we don't have problem passing all this. In fact, the issue of constitutional reform, like we have said, has been in the process. And it's a continuous, government continues. And all these things are already in the pipeline.
Right.
All that is required is for the concurrence of some of these our states, House of Assembly. And once that is done, we'll have this thing.
Okay.
So I think it's possible.
All right.
So the president-elect has already been sworn in, has mentioned how he intends to bring Nigeria together, spoken about, because we know that based on the election that Nigeria was very polarized, and it's important that for us to go forward, we see ourselves as one. I would like to find out from you how best you feel that can be addressed. How do you feel like we can address the fact that some Nigerians feel this election is not our election, this is not the result we wanted, and how would it now lead that country into one?
Well, I'm not going to speak for the president-elect, but for my own suggestion, one of the ways to balance out is to ensure that every section, aggrieved or not aggrieved, have a sort of involvement in the government of the day. If you are able to do that, and people see that you did not exclude them, which I know the president-elect will do, then they will feel comfortable with your government. That's on one leg. On the second leg, what do we want as a people? To me, Nigerians do not even want anything. What they want is very simple: good governance. Good governance, that's what they want. If the economy is doing well, if people are living without fear of their safety, of their security, I don't think anybody will feel aggrieved and raise arms against the government. And I'm sure that is the target of the incoming administration. And once that is done, everybody will feel part of the system, and they will work towards the growth of this country. I believe strongly about that.
Right. All right, so I was going to ask concerning many Nigerians are a bit, they are looking forward to a phenomenal inaugural speech. A speech that would actually show togetherness and also show readiness for work. In your view as a private citizen, what are your own expectations from that speech? Because I remember Buhari's speech, when he was President Buhari's speech, he said he was for nobody, it's for everybody. And everybody thought that from the next day like this, all the insecurity, everybody will be shut down, you know? But then the posture eventually changed. So with this, our new incoming president, concerning insecurity, his posture as a president, what do you think that speech should carry that will let Nigerians know that this president indeed is for all Nigerians?
Well, the speech is very important to set a pace for an incoming administration. And what I want to see is a situation where the president-elect would give everybody the confidence that, yes, hope is here. We cannot lose hope for this country. It's our country. That is on one leg. On the second leg, we know a lot of people are aggrieved. So we want to see a speech that will calm their nerves, that this government is your government. It's going to take care of all interests, no matter where it comes from. And it's going to ensure that we bring back the economy into a very robust one that would address all the challenges, security-wise, challenges of unemployment, challenges of the jackpot syndrome that you talked about earlier on. So once all these are there, I believe that will give serious hope to us. And as a nation, we'll have very good opportunities.
We also know that at the Lagos State level as well, we have a governor that is coming back. Yes. And what message, or do you think that we should be, what do you think Lagosians will be expecting from a governor who, the second time around, who seemed to have, made them happy the first time around? What should Lagosians be expecting the second time around? And what message also, would we like to hear that we can take away for the next 4 years?
Well, the message that I have for Mr. Governor is very simple. And anytime I have the opportunity, I will say, look, continue to improve on the good work you are doing. Right. Not only that, when you look at what he has done so far, as far as I'm concerned, I will score the government very high. Not because I'm part of the government, but because I am part of the people out there and we see what is going on.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. But I think just let me give you 5 seconds to finish up. Very quickly.
Yeah, before I wrap up, I'm here as a member of Eco Catalyst. Eco Catalyst, we are a group of professional politicians that are in government. Some of them are commissioners, some are head of agencies, some of us are in the private sector. Right. And what we do is to continue to lend our voice to the government as a group so that we continue to improve on governance. Right. And we thank God that most of the things that we say, the government are also looking through them, and they are doing a lot about it. And we're happy very well that that is happening.
It's a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our viewers for staying with us. We'll have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.